Again, another example of one-party extremism overtaking Albany, and no force in Albany standing up to it. Governor Cuomo just rolled over, just let this happen when he had the ability to push back on it, but he didn't because of political expediency and political concerns. And now, as they know that it was drafted at the end of the budget year, that was drafted in the middle of the night, there are errors throughout that law that have been proposed. And when they talk about fixing it, it is amazing to me how the hard left has boxed these folks in, and they're not even open to take on the fight and say, you know what, appreciate the issue of criminal justice reform, appreciate the issue of bail reform, but we made some mistakes. And we should have done it differently. We can't put the genie back in the bottle, but we're going to fix it going forward. But they won't even do that. And that's a shame, because what's going to happen, and mark my words, and I've said this to other folks, someone's going to get killed. Somebody's going to get injured. And that's a family member, that's a victim, that you're putting the rights of a criminal defendant, and oftentimes a multiple criminal defendant, in the sense he's been previously convicted or she's been previously convicted of crimes, you're putting their rights over the rights of a victim. And I think that's upside down. That's wrong. Victims should always be the priority in criminal justice reform. People have died, and those are the faces that I'm going to, as we fight this fight against what they've done here, those are the faces that should drive this debate. Not the faces of criminal defendants, not the faces of folks that are going through the criminal process. We can deal with them. We can deal with the situation. That's why when you talk about bail reform, there's a lot of alternatives to incarceration. There's enough technology out there. There are things that you can do. If people can't afford bail, I get the poverty concern. I hear that. I understand that. But when you're putting that up against the rights of a victim or a potential future victim, my goodness, where we are at as a state, if that's your priority, that you are going to make, you're going to put the lives of people at risk in order to achieve a political win on the hard left agenda. That's wrong. Is incompetence in regards to, he's the governor. You have to sign this stuff. You don't. You have the ability to say, no, we're not going to do this, and negotiate it, and sit there in the room and fight for those victims, and make sure that those elected officials that are being boxed in by that hard left are stood up to, and say, you know what, you're an elected official. You represent everyone. You don't represent just that little faction or that loud voice. And so as the governor said that, it was also telling to me, as he said it, he then backed down. And what I've been watching in his public rhetoric, and what I've been watching in the state capitol, is he's backed off of that, and he's doubled down on the bail reform. Because someone got to him. Someone put pressure on him, and he's backing down because his party is under the control of that small, loud, extreme voice, of that extreme liberal agenda that's coming out of Albany.